In news tonight, 7 school districts in southeastern Minnesota will be asking for taxpayers for more support this November. Each one is placing an operating referendum on the election ballot, despite Minnesota legislators passing what some are calling a historic multi-billion-dollar education bill last year. The K-12 education bill featured a $2.2 billion funding boost in 2023. Majority of the money increased funding by 4% this year, 2% next year, and a minimum of 2% for years following. It's also paying for almost half of school districts' special education cross-subsidy expenses through 2026. KIMT News 3's Brandon Cote joins us now in studio. So Brandon, why are so many school districts asking for taxpayer money when the state already invested billions of dollars into education?
Yeah, it's a great question, Cami. So the school districts I spoke with say, yes, this was a big one for public education, but it's not enough to cover up the lack of funding they received over the past 20 years. Now, here's a look at the list of the schools putting a referendum vote on the election ballot this Tuesday. Most of these school districts say the state's funding is failing to keep up with the rise of inflation they experienced over the last 2 decades. They say this $2.2 billion bill is bringing great upgrades to schools statewide, like free lunches and enhancing early student learning. But the state funding they receive comes with constraints, only allowing them to spend so much on their biggest expense of teacher salaries.
As to get money, but then you have to spend it in certain ways, and that may not be our need in Byron.
This is not because we aren't careful stewards of the public dollars. It's because our funding system right now is not adequately designed to help kids meet the state academic standards that they're expected to meet.
While these 7 school districts are needing more tax money, there is one in this region who's doing the opposite. So coming up at 10, I will share how one southeastern Minnesota school district is lowering taxes for homeowners.
All right, Brandon, that is very interesting and looking forward to that. The Minnesota legislation also passed a $40 million education bill aimed to fund more school programs and prepare schools for the state's new literacy curriculum.